Dudley Bradley. Dudley Bradley for the stop. 70-68. 3, 2, 1. Matthews off balance, off the glass. Dudley Bradley's defense did it. And ready on his second attempt. That one is no good. They battle for it. Loose ball. Recovered Marvin. He scores. Pushes into Hubert Davis. 8 seconds. Davis trying to get free. Over to Fox. Fox, baseline. Up for the shot. Good. Off the glass. Oklahoma calls timeout. But the game is over. The game is over. Carolina has upset number 1 Oklahoma.
Turns it over. Kenny Williams with the steal. Gets it to Barry. 17 seconds to go. Barry, Duke not fouling. Gets it to Johnson. To Pinson for the highlight. Inbounds goes deep on the right sideline to May. Holy smokes, a long three! Are you kidding me? Holy cow! Pinson gets all the way to the rim, and what a way to pick up his first field goal of the season by throwing down the tomahawk.
With 20 seconds left to play, goes back to Michael Jordan, jumper from out on the left, good! 63-62, 13, 12, 11, Georgetown with one timeout. Fred Brown looking, way to Worthy! Worthy 5! The Tar Heels are going to win the national championship!
Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. Weber front court. Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul. Brown gets it into Williams. Here comes Williams front court. Williams on the drive. Gets it back out the head. Long outside shot. Short rebounded. May. It's over. Carolina has won the national championship. How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
That's it! Make room for 2017. The Tar Heels are the national daggum champions.
This is the Roy's Boys podcast with your host, Joshua Marlowe.
Cold world, real cold world. Them boys cool, me I'm on fire.
Guys, it is officially Cole Anthony's world. We're just lucky enough to be living in it. What a fun night of Carolina basketball tonight. Josh Anthony here with you as always on the Roy's Boys podcast, powered by Carolina Electrical Services. Tonight we got a fun episode. We get to recap a season-opening win over Notre Dame.
We get to talk about a basketball game that happened that is not against Villanova that we weren't supposed to know about, or against Winston-Salem State, which we were supposed to know about, but was just an exhibition against a team that's a Division II team. So finally.
This was, I think this game played out exactly how we thought it was going to when we previewed the game.
Certain aspects of the game, maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, we were kind of in the same region about where we thought this game was going to end.
I was talking to my little brother on the way to your house tonight as we were going to hang out to watch the game, and he was, Bubs, what do you think is going to happen? And I was like, I think Carolina's going to win because they're at home. And I said that in the previous while I pretty much picked Carolina to win. And I said they're probably going to win something in the 70-60 kind of range. Final score tonight, 76-65.
Not nearly as impressive as me picking 2 football game scores exactly correct this year. But I mean, what are you gonna do? How could you be that great?
See, I let you lead into the podcast. You actually got to lead in.
Hey, I gotta go.
This is what happens.
Look, I have to throw that out there every time because I'm impressed with myself. I mean, I'm just gonna be really honest with you. But we don't. Well, here's the thing: we are not going to make exact score predictions for basketball because we could be wildly off in some of these games. So, but yeah, no, I think you're right. I think this was kind of where we saw this game playing out. I mean, you look at these early ACC season matchups. I mean, it seems like this is where just about every game is kind of ending up, except for Virginia and Syracuse, which is just boring basketball. Yeah, plain and simple.
All these games, we of course know the ACC starting the season with the regular season games to begin the year to get interest in basketball early in the season, promoting the ACC network, which had some struggles tonight in both venues, as the camera was off in Chapel Hill and the audio was bad in Syracuse.
Here we go. Went to broadcasting school for 6 months and already saying, yep, the video quality was not
not good. I mean, the camera guy should have zoomed out, pan left a little bit more, was a little zoomed in, the frame was a little high.
Truck left, okay?
I like pan.
No, truck, you got to move the camera.
Chris
Tyndall. taught us that.
You know,
yeah.
lower thirds were way out of proportion.
Oh, Jesus
really
Christ.
throwing
Stop.
off.
Now you're actually like throwing stuff out there that wasn't even true. You're going to get these people in trouble. No.
But
overall, solid broadcast.
Yeah, no. And tonight was a solid game for Carolina.
Okay, really quickly on the ACC thing, are you still, after seeing this take place here over the last over these first 2 days of the season, are you still as what am I looking for here?
Against it?
Against it? I mean, I don't know. It didn't go as bad as I thought. I thought it went okay. I thought it could have gone a lot worse. There was only one real upset that I think will have an effect maybe later in the season.
For me, like, okay, y'all know me. I love college basketball. I love this conference, so I'm going to watch. I would like it a lot better if Carolina was a little bit more veteran or a little bit more healthy when they opened the season in an ACC game.
Right.
That was my biggest problem with this. Was not really that it was because Carolina comes in inexperienced and completely beat up to start the year, which is why I was like, I'm not for us playing an ACC opponent and one being Notre Dame. That always gives us fits no matter the venue, and so I think it's. You know, they'll look at the ratings and they'll move from forward, but I think they'll also look at the standings at the end of the year and these couple games that you saw in upsets throughout the ACC that's going to affect seeding,
right. And
they'll probably may cause them to recourse. I'd be more for them playing both games in December or later in November if you're not in a holiday tournament. I think that makes the most sense. But like Carolina tonight. Started out fairly quick. They got up, I think, 13-4. They were really locked in defensively. Then Notre Dame made a couple shots. Cole Anthony got a rest. Carolina found themselves down 1 point at halftime. It was 31-30. And in some ways, it felt somewhat worse than that. Carolina missed 7 of its 22 of its final 29 shots in the first half, but yet only trailed by 1. Big part of that was because this team was locked in defensively from the get-go. And you heard Roy Williams say in this press conference Tuesday, they've got to be good defensively if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, we said that on this podcast. I mean, plain and simple. If they're going to win games this year, especially early on, they are going to have to play well defensively. And I thought they did that, for the most part throughout the entire game. I thought they did a really good job on the inside against Jack Mooney after a couple of early baskets. I thought Garrison Brooks was about as good as you could have hoped for from a big man against a guy that was going to stretch the floor in Mooney as you could hope for in the first game of the season. Garrison Brooks is probably this team's best defender, if we're being really honest. And he kind of proved that tonight. I thought, you pointed this out to me early on in the game, that Cole Anthony is not only a willing defender, but is a guy that has some better ability than we've seen from recent point guards when it comes to playing defense, consistently. We've seen guys that have put in a lot of effort, but really just aren't great defenders for Carolina. Cole Anthony's a little bit different, and I thought that showed tonight. And, I was impressed by some of the other guys as well. I thought, Justin Pierce, I thought played pretty well on the defensive end. I thought Armando Bacot looked pretty solid at times. I mean, he had a couple of mistakes that, you expect freshmen to make, but, also had a nice block inside, was doing good, with where he was supposed to be on the floor. And really, one of the things that we've seen the last couple of years is our bigs have really had trouble switching whenever they get into those switch situations. And I thought tonight, both guys did pretty well. Actually, all 3 guys did pretty well because Justin Pierce played inside a lot. So I thought all 3 guys really did a great job. And, I got to hand it to him. I thought this team definitely did a couple of things that, I was a little bit concerned about going in, like rebounding. That was the biggest thing for me, that they did a lot better than I thought they were.
Yeah, you talk about the matchup with Mooney, and I thought if Carolina could neutralize him, they had a better chance to win the game. They held him to 10 points on 5 of 13 shooting, so he struggled from the floor, only 8 rebounds. Last year, Chapel Hill, he had 14 points, 19 rebounds. Those 19 boards tied a record for an opponent in the Smith Center. And it was really a group effort because you saw him get matched up a couple times with Garrison, of course, Armando, Justin Pierce got switched on him a couple times, and those guys were able to hold their own. I thought Garrison was really solid as he always is, just being in the right position. But also you saw him being at the 4. He's a little more fluid in his rotations, and he's very good at the 5 spot, being good on a ball screen, hedging out, but getting back. But at the 4, he's able to move a little bit better. Closed out a lot better tonight on long 3-point shots. Armando had a couple good closeouts. And so that's something that's going to be really key for this team is as they're transitioning back into playing 2 bigs, they've still got to have the awareness to close out on 3-point shooters because this is a modern era of college basketball where 4s and 5s are going to step out and hit the 3. I thought they were really good tonight. Justin Pierce was a pleasant surprise on the rebounding side. He struggled from the floor, only 1 of 6, and his 1 field goal, of course, was a 3.
Right.
But he gave you 7 rebounds. And, Carolina's losing 9 rebounds from the 2 and 3 spot from last year. Getting 7 boards tonight kind of shows that he's willing to go to the boards. He averaged 8 at William & Mary. Didn't know how that was going to transition at UNC in the ACC. But I guess if you want to go rebound, you'll go do it, and he did that tonight.
Well, he's got really good size. I mean, that was one of the things that initially sort of surprised me about him. When I first saw him on the floor, I did not realize that he was really that big.
He's kind of lanky. He's
got some size.
So he's kind of awkward running down the floor, but his length allows him to make up for some of his, I guess.
And he's aggressive going up and getting the basketball as well, which allows him to rip down some of those rebounds. And I mean, you kind of mentioned, okay, well, we needed some of that rebounding from, to make up at the 3 and 2 positions. He didn't really play a whole lot of 3 and 2 tonight. He is pretty much at this point from, what we saw tonight in a big game. He looks like he's going to be the backup 4. That's pretty much what he is. That's going to be his main position. He's going to come in and play the 4 whenever, Bacot has to come off the floor and they just move Garrison inside, or if Garrison has to come off the floor and it's him and Bacot. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we're seeing right now. And I thought, he handled that role pretty well. I was pleasantly surprised with him on the defensive end. Like you mentioned, on the offensive end, he struggled. But look, both transfers struggled. Christian Keeling was awful. Flat. I mean, just not good. Turned the ball over 5 times. Just really was kind of out of control with his game at times. But look, I mean, this is the thing, for these transfers. You go from, in Keeling's case, playing in the Big South. In Pierce's case, you go from playing in the Colonial to first game that you're on campus, you're playing an ACC game. That is not easy at all. And I mean, Cole Anthony, which we'll talk about him, of course, at length here coming up. He's just different. Okay, we saw Bacot have some struggles as well. This is a tough first game to have to come in and play. But both transfers really looked out of sorts. You could tell that both guys on the offensive end were just really not used to the type of resistance that they saw from a very good defensive Notre Dame team. I think they will rebound, and but that was one of the things that Pierce I think showed that he's a guy that can be effective on the defensive end. Now we're hoping that he can sort of step his game up on the offensive end as the season goes along, especially from the outside where we really didn't get a whole lot of answers tonight about who's going to be that guy to take over from the outside. Maybe outside of Cole Anthony, just that's going to be your answer for everything there.
I feel like Keeling, he had his problems, turned the ball over a lot in the first half, just didn't look confident, and was completely out of rhythm, and that might have been just the nerves and the jacked up and the excitement to play for the first time.
Back.
In
this
the
kid
Smith
was
Center.
good for he's on this team for a reason. Okay, let's be really honest. He averaged 19.3 points per game or something like that last year at Charleston Southern. I mean, he's a legit player. So it's going to take time. He'll get it. But tonight was not a great performance from him. That's just all I'm saying.
And the good thing was he still showed flashes of the kind of player he's going to be. He had a step back 3. Mm-hmm. He hit a step back jumper. He can get to the lane. He's just got to be a little bit more smarter and a little more stronger with the ball when he's attacking in ACC play. And look,